Wilbon joins us, and boy, it is great to have Michael with us. He is, when it comes to sports journalism, when it comes to journalism in general, the guy is a titan. He is a legend. Ever since he started working at the Washington Post 46 years ago and doing PTI for the last 25 years.
And PTI is the best show on ESPN.
Yeah. Hey, Michael Wilbon, thanks for joining us, man. Hey, we'll get into this.
Thanks for having me. Are you kidding?
Sure. We're going to get into this New York-Atlanta game in just 1 second. Let me just ask you a question. Which is more surprising to you at this point in the playoffs? That Orlando has a 3-1 lead over Detroit, or that the Lakers, without Luka and Reeves, lead Houston 3-1? Which is more surprising to you?
I guess the Lakers, because they ran out 3-0 without, 58 points a game. And, I don't want to ever count LeBron out of anything because that would just be dumb. But people were taking bets on whether the Lakers would get a game, and here they are up 3-1 after being up 3-0 without those two guys. But the thing about Orlando, and I know you guys have talked about this because I watch religiously, Orlando just, I don't know, what the hell were they doing during the regular season, but going on a path that seemingly might get their coach fired, and he's too good for that. But when you have that kind of talent, and I know there were injuries, and I know those guys missed a lot of games, but Orlando never should have been in a play-in situation. At the beginning of the season, I thought they were more like a 4 seed. They'd be playing for home court advantage in the regular season. They wind up in the position they were, so maybe we shouldn't be surprised, and J.B. Bickerstaff did a great job of guiding Detroit through what they went through without enough offensive firepower at all. But I'm going to still say the Lakers. I mean, I just, 3-0. And when Kevin Durant, we got the surprise before Game 1 that he wasn't going to play, still, I didn't see the Lakers going up 3-0. Maybe you guys did.
Yeah. Now to the matter at hand tonight at the Garden. How would you, I know it's early at this point, but how would you assess the vibe in that building tonight in the 2-2 series?
Ernie, you and the guys have been here. It gets tense as they walk in the building. It's quiet. It's been quiet around town today, and people are just saying, "What do you think is going to happen tonight?" Because there's uncertainty, and you can feel it. You don't know how they're going to start the game. I would expect it to build when they see everybody, their heroes, come out on the floor. But I tell you what. What's Atlanta's response going to be to Karl Anthony Towns being the great big playmaker he was in Game 4 successfully with 10 assists? Are they going to shut that down? Is Jalen Brunson going to have a game like he had in the playoffs last year? I think it was a Game 5 when he went north of 40. If we get that Brunson and Cat, I think they'll be boisterous by the time we get to halftime in here. But Atlanta seems, just talking to the Hawks players just now and C.J. McCollum, they seem pretty calm, which – I would just wonder about that. I wonder from the guys if when they played here on opposing teams in playoff games, if they felt a calm before a Game 5 on the road in Madison Square Garden. So it's a fascinating place to be tonight, as it always is, late in a playoff series.
Mike, you've been in this business for a lot of years. You always, heard the term must win. So tonight, who must win and who will win the series if the person wins tonight?
Ooh, Shaquille. The Knicks must win. I don't think they want to go on the road against this young, energetic team down 3-2. I think the Knicks must win. And Atlanta, okay, they still get to go home and even it up. They don't know you don't want to get to a Game 7, and you still got to win another game here. But I think the Knicks are in that place. Their owners pronounced it sort of a, finals or bust situation, which only puts more pressure on everybody. And I think they feel that. But I think the Knicks in this building, given last year, the bar became beating the Celtics. And so if they don't even get back to the Celtics in the second round, that would represent to me a huge failure. I don't want to overstate it, but I think the Knicks are in the must-win situation tonight.
Well, Mike, you've been on television, but you're also a journalism writer. What's the story you're going to write tomorrow that you feel you would write if you were back at the typewriter back in the days before The Godfather?
Kenny, that you asking me like to do real work if I had to go back and do that. When I was watching you guys, it would bother all three of you in the locker rooms,
Exactly.
day off and night of, all three of you for years. You know what? I think the story tonight is that so it's impossible to be here all day and not hear everybody talking about craziness to me about job security and do they blow up the team if they lose. I'm like, my goodness, can we just get through a series? No, you know New York, they're not going to be patient enough to get through the series. So I think it's the reaction of the Knicks, the reaction. If they win and they go up in the series and they have what appears to be a hold on it at 3-2 with a game 7 in hand, 6 and 7, but 7 at home, what is the Knicks' reaction? What is the town's reaction? What is the owner's reaction? I came in, I got a chance to sit and talk with all of our dear friend Patrick Ewing, who I covered at Georgetown and got to know from the time he was 18. And, Patrick, of course, knows the feeling of this more than anybody in this building on either side. And that's what it seems to be. How are they going to respond as players, as a team, and then the reaction around them? I am really curious to see that.
Well, I'm not going to lie, Godfather. I'm jealous because we got 2 beatdowns we showing, and you at the New York game. I would love to be there because New York is a special place. When that team is on fire in a big game, it is awesome. So I'm a little jealous of you. I'm not going to lie. I would love to be there tonight.
Charles, I'd love for you guys to be here, be with you here courtside. And you're right. When you can come in Madison Square Garden in the springtime. I mean, I did last year. I like to be out west, Charles, as you know. I've migrated out your way, and I like to be out west and cover those series as much as possible. But last year, it was fun to be here for the Boston series and the Indiana series. I mean, my God, the place just crackled, and it was something of a magical run for the Knicks until it wasn't. But you guys know how it is here. It pulsates, or it's really tight. And right now, if you ask me to pick what it feels like, it's really tight. But it'll be interesting to see what happens at tip-off. And if the Knicks keep going in this, how would the next round matchup go? Presumably against Boston. So, Charles, I know maybe those other series aren't as interesting tonight. We know crazy stuff can happen. I don't expect, like you, I don't expect it to happen in those other games tonight, but it could happen here.
Michael Wilbon. It was a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for taking some time. Look forward to bumping into you on the road during the finals.
Absolutely. It's an honor. Love you guys and hope to see you in person soon.
Yes, sir.
The great Michael Wilbon joining us from Madison Square Garden.
He's just an amazing dude. And him and Kornheiser, man, I watch that show religiously.
We know.
It's the best show on ESPN, period.
Seems to me, Shaq, that the story in Game 4 was that the Knicks brought a new level of intensity to the floor that the Hawks couldn't match.
They play well. They did, exactly what they're supposed to do. But it's going to be a different day, Ernie, because you know why? When I woke up this morning, I went outside my house in McDonough. It was silent, and then the Hawks spoke to me.
Oh.
They said they wanted me to be the Hawk Master tonight. So I only got 2 things to say, Ernie. It's going down. It's guaranteed. The Hawks going to win this game, and they're going to win the series. You heard it here first. The Hawk Master has spoken.
That has the distinct feel of an Eric creation. Is that
that's
Eric's
right.
creation for you?
Shout out to
I like that better
guy
than
Eric, my
Ernie,
arts and crafts manager.
That
Knicks
was
going
the
down.
first time I saw the Hawks look like a young team. What you saw in Game 4 was a veteran team, like, we can't go down 3-1. They came out desperation, playing like it was a must-win. And the Hawks, other than CJ, they don't have a lot of guys with playoff experience. They had to know the Knicks was going to come out like gangbusters. They got staggered, and it was too late. And they've got to know tonight that the Knicks got to come out, because this is a must-win for the Knicks. You don't want to come back on the road. So it's hard to teach young guys, the different level of intensity in the playoffs. And like I say, CJ is not he's terrific. But the rest of them young guys who've had great years, they just got punched in the mouth the other night and didn't know how to react. But they better be ready for another punch tonight.
You want to take a swing at this one, Jet?
Yeah, I think, the Knicks have to be very, very cautious because, again, Johnson hasn't played his best basketball at all. The things that he had been doing in the regular season, he's at par, but he's no birdies, Chuck. You know what I mean? He's at par. And the other guy that really is a mismatch problem for the Knicks when he comes into the game is Jonathan Kuminga. Jonathan Kuminga is a tough cover for the New York Knicks, and he also is a pretty good defender at times on Cat. So with McCollum and Kuminga, Kuminga has some championship experience, maybe not at the level of being the guy, but being around it and being in that atmosphere. And so, CJ, those two guys, I look to step up and play big in this game, and it's going to be an interesting game, and that's a game to
The
watch.
Hawks got their half-court offense is not good. The pace of the game will dictate to me how they got a chance. Because if the Hawks try to play slow, because Cat and Jalen Brunson are great one-on-one players. The Hawks, when they play fast, that's when they're at an advantage.
Hawks could use big nights from Jalen Johnson, Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Let's go, JJ.
Both not scoring what they did in the regular season. This is a big one tonight, Game 5 in a 2-2 series.